Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Day 572 coming to you live tonight, 9:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm back on the East Coast. Just 24 midnight, 18 hours ago, 20 hours ago. I was in San Francisco, getting ready to roll out. Made it back in today, and all is good to go. Got a little nap, got everything ready, and we have a full update tonight. Additionally, I've got to go back to California again next weekend. I'll be speaking. This one came up unexpectedly, and I'll be speaking in Los Angeles next weekend. So I guess I'm just going to fly back and forth across the country and do what I do. So there you go. But we'll be here with the updates as well. So yes, Nathan, I did make it out of San Francisco alive. Let me say hello to everybody. First in tonight, King Raccoon, welcome to you. Mark McLaren across the pond as well. Welcome to you. Chuck Pinkham checking in from San Jose. I was just there, just above you. I tried to hook up with Steven and some borders. We're going to make that happen next time, Stephen Phelps. So we'll do that. Herman Conti, welcome back on vacation. Now back. He's down in South America, Argentina. Jeffrey Burnett doing his job, saying hello to everybody. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you and all that you do. Amish Marine, Austin, Texas. Welcome to you. Good evening, Ricochet, as always. Skeg checking in from the great Down Under, as always. Lynn Fireball, Harold down there in Virginia, Mr. Baseball, Nathan Fody. Glad you made it out of SF alive. Yeah, it was, I'll tell you what, guys, I grabbed the BART from Antioch, California, and rode it all the way back into San Francisco. And when I got to the Pittsburgh stop, 6 guys got on that were gangbangers. Listen, any of you guys that live in the East Bay or Northern California, you know what I'm talking about. They were coming down from Pittsburgh. So they sat right beside me, and they were a little aggressive. So I did the right thing, and I made friends with them. I'm not stupid. I made friends with them. So we're riding the whole time. They're telling me about their lives and what they do. And I mean, they're talking crazy stuff. They were getting off in Oakland, switching and going to Richmond. So for those of you that are local up in that area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it was good. It was pretty fun. Thank you, Stephen. Always welcome in California. I lived there for almost 9 years in Sacramento, so it's my second home. Yeah, Stephen Phelps, stay away from BART. I'm well aware. Lighthouse Ministries, welcome to the Bay. Yes, sir. The Bay was awesome. Hey, Lighthouse, I had a BART experience last night, but anyway, that's not what we're here for. Even from Texas, welcome to you. Nice picture there. Young man rocking the football. I think his name would be, see how my memory is, Malachi. MXSTY, the legend of Rio Vista. Welcome to you. Appreciate you being here. All right, guys, let's jump to it tonight. A lot to go over tonight, and I'm going to get you completely updated, Kadyrov included. I've got some good humorous video toward the end, give you a smile on some video I received from Kim Jong-un and Putin. It's hilarious. You've just got to see it. So to give you a smile at the end, and let's jump. We're going to jump right in and start with the air raid map, because Ukraine has been under air raid for hours, and basically it's moved from the east across to the west. Kherson, they just dropped their air alarm, and theirs was not for drones. So you guys know I've taught you how to read this. This is all drones. I do know that drones are flying over Khmelnytsky region right now. That's 100% fact. I get all the information from Khmelnytsky. So drones are over Khmelnytsky region right now. And the Kherson region in the south just dropped its warning just within the last 5 minutes. And that was not drones, but that was actually air jets in the air. So this is where we're at, and we'll keep an eye on it. If anything unfolds in Khmelnytsky specifically during the next hour, I promise you I'll get the information. Kherson, there was an explosion downtown, and Kryvyi Rih. So those are off now, but that's where we've had two explosions that are significant, but no information on them. So that's where we start. But let's start here tonight. Zelenskyy has arrived in the United States. And you guys remember last week when I was in the Ukrainian embassy and down there with all those meetings for 2 days? Do you remember the lady on the left? You have President Zelenskyy. You have his wife. And the lady on the left, that's Markarova, the ambassador. Remember the video I showed you right here? Let me back her up a little bit. So she's talking. So there she is, and here she is welcoming President Zelenskyy today. So, you know, we made some really, really good friends in Washington, D.C., I promise you. And that's pretty cool right there. So Zelenskyy is in the United States. He'll be in D.C. He'll be in New York City. He's supposed to speak to the UN Security Council or to the General Assembly. Additionally, Lavrov is going to be here, supposedly representing Russia. So it's going to be a very interesting week. I'm going to come back to that image in just a few moments. Now, 100% success rate over the last 48 hours with cruise missiles. Now, over the last 48 hours, 11 drones out of 40 some have hit targets in Ukraine, and there have been deflections, but they took out about 80% of the drones. And you say, man, how is it so hard to take them out? They're invisible. Okay, very quiet. They're difficult. But cruise missiles, 100% success over the last 48 hours. 7 2 days ago, 6 or yesterday, 6 today, and all 13 have been taken out. Here's a cut with some air defense going on. Ukraine doing a good job. This is what it looks like when you're down there. Boom. And aren't you glad that that explosion is taking place in the air and not on the ground? So we're very happy about that. Success, 100% over the last 48 hours. That's some good news. Now I'm going to give some more good news. There's been a Bakhmut breakthrough. That's what they're calling it. But let me clarify it. They haven't broken through into Bakhmut. Okay, that's not going to happen yet. But they are Ukrainian forces making good pushes on the south side. Russia is responding. If you look at this map right here, and I'll go to another map in a second, the two blue arrows south of Bakhmut, and I went ahead and encircled Bakhmut in the black. On top, we have the red arrow. So Russia losing ground on the south side of Bakhmut. You may ask, well, how far are the blue arrows from Bakhmut? Well, Kishkivka is about 6 kilometers from Bakhmut. So, 2.5, 3 miles Klishkivka, and Andreevka is about 9. So if I go here, you can see, Bakhmut, it's locked. Ivanivsky's Ukraine, but this is the village they have taken in Klishkivka. And this is decent, 150, 200 people live here or did. Andreevka is, yes, this is a village, but there's typically probably 30, 40 people. It's agricultural villages. And typically what you'll have in those villages is 2 or 3 families that have been there for generations that farm all of this land. You can see the farmland when I zoom in here. And that's what these villages do. They support the farming, which is so important. So that's what's happening there. So that's actually really, really good. Now, I will tell you this. I was very disappointed with a lot of communication I had yesterday in California. Not with my guys, okay? Welcome from Marysville, California there, Stephen. Appreciate it, buddy. But I was in the San Francisco airport last night for quite a while. I got there early. You don't play with it. and I'm wearing this. This is the one that I got from the embassy. So this is my new one. And I was really surprised how many people came up and started talking to me why I support Ukraine. Why do I have a wristband on? Don't I know that they're Nazis and that our government has lost its mind, and they have no idea what I do, and it was pretty adventurous. Now, I will say this, and I know we have U.S. veterans in here. A majority of the guys that came up to me were military, and they were typically in their 40s and 50s. Nice guys, but have completely drank the Kool-Aid. I showed them pictures. I told them where I've been, what I've done, how I know Ukraine, and they would look at me and go, man, that's really cool. I support you as a person, but they're Nazis. I said, where are you hearing this from? It's in all of our media. I said, what media? I'm telling you guys, it's there. And it's madness to the depth that these guys, and I'm telling you, Ukraine, apart from it, they're probably nice people, but they are lost. Here's Nate, U.S. vet. Happens to me almost every conversation. Worst part is the convos with other Christians. It's frustrating. Yeah, it is. And, I didn't go looking or picking. I'm just standing in the airport, hanging out, and people come talk to me because they see the thing on my wrist. And it was just unbelievable. So, different topic, but Bakhmut there, encircled in the black. The city's locked. South side. I saw Mark McLaren. Yes, Russia is rotating some troops out of the south, but additionally, Russia is rotating some troops to the south. So it's like they're bringing some mass up to Bakhmut or in, and toward that Zaporozhye front where Ukraine has reclaimed the most ground, which we'll talk about in a moment, they're actually moving in some more of their specialized forces. So we shall see. Remember, we only tell what we know and speak what we know, no conjecture, and we'll be patient and we'll see what unfolds on that. So there is that. Now, I do have some video here of Klishivka. Here's the guys that liberated it. They're telling the date. Those are no Nazi symbols there, guys. That's a 5 with a lightning bolt through it. These are their divisions. Listen to the background. They don't even flinch. One of the things that you needed to look at there, of course, you see there's nothing left. Everything's destroyed. But what they were saying is, we are on this date in the Donetsk region. We are at the village of Klishivka, and we have reclaimed it for Ukraine. So it's amazing. Yes, they've taken over, but the fighting continues. And I will tell you this, it's quite intensive. It's quite intensive fighting. Russia actually has rolled into Bakhmut a lot of equipment over the last week or so. And here's the update on that. And this is actually from Institute Study of War. And it says, this is their report. I trust these guys. 52,000 troops have rotated into the Bakhmut front based in the destroyed city and around the city currently active. This is today's report. 274 tanks, 1,000 armored vehicles, 150 artillery systems, and 120 self-propelled guns. And that is right there in Bakhmut. If you're looking at the map, it will be between the two blues. That's where they've rolled in. So we'll see. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but we do have some good things going on there. Additionally, Ukraine was able to hit Donetsk, and it's terrible. They have to hit their own city. It is their city, but it's occupied. They hit the headquarters of Pushilin. They hit it. And what's really interesting, after they hit, I'll give that to you in a second, Raccoon. What's interesting about Donetsk is they hit the administrative building of Pushilin, and Russian media going crazy tonight. Here's the hit. Donetsk, the Pushilin headquarters. It's that white building there. This lets you see also Donetsk. Donetsk is a huge city, folks. Way over 1 million people. This gentleman's filming. He says we're in downtown Donetsk. That's the headquarters. Now, Russian media going absolutely nuts today because they threaten, or they're complaining rather, that the Ukrainian Nazis are hitting legitimate government citizens in outposts and not military targets. Listen, this is Pushilin's headquarters. It's the headquarters of everything that's happening in Donetsk. The military is there. Everything is there running out of that building, and that's a military target, 100%. Now, Greg, last video you said red and black flag was from Eastern Ukraine in old days. What was the name of the oblast again, please? So it wasn't directly from an oblast. It was just from Eastern Ukraine, but I think the word you're looking for is Bandera, Bandera. So people from that western region, and if I come out here, it's going to be Lutsk area, Rivne region, Ivano-Frankivsk, Transcarpathia, Lviv, Ternopil, Chernivtsi, even part of Khmelnytsky. This region here, they were Bandera. So that's what you're referring to there. So that's Donetsk. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm actually concerned about this. And the reason I'm concerned is because of what I heard last week in Washington, D.C., directly from Ukrainian high-ups, directly from United States Congress members high up, that have some concerns privately about the counteroffensive. I'm absolutely able to share everything. I asked every congressman there, is there anything I'm not allowed to say that you said here over the last 2 days? They said, no, tell everybody you can because nobody's listening. I said, okay, help me tell more people. Well, they're concerned about the amount of ground that is actually being recovered versus the cost of life. And that was a big discussion that we were having, and it's valid. It's really valid. Here you can see 260 kilometers square is the total ground gained in the summer offensive. Over the last 7 days, Ukraine has reclaimed 5 square kilometers. And listen, I understand that we didn't lose 5. We didn't lose 50. We gained 5. We gained 260. But with 1,000,000% support of Ukraine, Zhenya, if he was here with me tonight, would tell you the same thing. Reality's reality. Russia occupies just in the south 44,634 square kilometers. No, the alternative is not give up. That's a good question. No. In fact, they were very clear that they're not giving up. The battle right now is the propaganda. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. The battle right now is the propaganda. And that's what they were saying. Listen, okay, I'll just tell you exactly what they said to me. Correct. It's at a huge cost. And okay, if they have concern, why aren't they giving Ukraine what it needs rather than just enough? They're trying. They're trying. But I learned a lot of stuff down there. Okay. And I can tell you this. Let's say the United States is sending, and I'm just going to say this, 50 Bradleys, okay? And just because it's reported, unless you're reading the contract and the details, nobody knows when they're coming. And additionally, the United States can't just, let's say, put 50 Bradleys on a cargo ship and take them to Odessa. I mean, could we? Yes, but they can't, because there are NATO agreements in place and there are supplies of weapons that have to stay in certain locations, and to move things, they have to move others. And, you know, the congressman is on one of the defense committees, and she was sitting there going, we're doing it, but there's so much red tape that the world has no idea. No idea. Is Russia losing territory? Yes. They are. They are. We just need the world to rally moving out of this summer into the fall and winter. The next 4-6 months going to be very key in what unfolds in this war. So, no, don't worry, fellas. Nobody's ever giving up. Ever. We're here. Do peremoga. But with it said, the reality is a lot of people are dying. Yes, Ukraine's gaining some ground. Yes, there are good relationships being built. Yes, equipment's coming. Yes, equipment's there. But folks, while this is delayed, all I can do is tell you what I've been told. While this is delayed, there's struggles in other relationships. And some of those I'm going to highlight for you tonight. We have to keep that solidarity. For example, here is one of the major problems, and this was directly, and it doesn't matter, I can tell y'all everything. This was directly out of the colonel's mouth from Ukraine. Okay? Tuchenov. Directly. He's there, he's sitting beside the congresswoman, beside the senator, and he says, our people are so hungry to keep our citizens motivated that many times we release information that is inaccurate, that is premature, and instead of helping our nation on the global front, it's actually hurting our nation, and we're trying to make them stop. Zelensky's trying to make them stop. But in the heat of war and the struggle and the stress and the passion, it's difficult. For example, this today, that is Budanov. I'm going to make a prediction right now. I'm going to make a prediction. It wouldn't surprise me if this guy is changed out. He's done a great job, just like Reznikov did and Hanna Muyar. Everybody. Just remember, day 572, it's my prediction. He quotes, the armed forces of Ukraine will break Russia's land quarter with the occupied Crimea before the winter. And that's directly from Budanov, direct quote in The Economist. He said, according to him, the Russian economy will last to 2025 and the flow of weapons will continue until 2026, and that'll be it. But we're going to break that line from Zaporizhia down to Crimea. And you know that goes through the Melitopol and Tokmak, just like we talked about. Directly, point blank, out of the colonel's mouth last week in D.C., he says, listen, we can do it, but we can't do it by ourselves. And every time our guys come out and say this, and then we get to December or January and we've moved the line 100 kilometers something, our people become disenfranchised. But I'm just telling you guys the truth. It's hurting Ukraine. And it doesn't matter that, you know, of course, we want everything there. If you want my opinion, I want to roll our guys in there and end this. But we have cowards in leadership. We have people that have their own agendas, and we have a political war happening globally between the United States and China and Russia. Hello, folks. Our country just sent big money to release American hostages held in Iran, and we gave up their prisoners for free. Who next is going to kidnap an American? Because there's billions of dollars on the table. Who next? You see, this is all a part of the big picture. It's just not a frontline battle. And when you have people like Budanov, whom I respect and I like him, but this is like the third time he's done this. And I'm telling you, Zelenskyy, he's going to change him. It's my prediction. It's just my prediction. Yeah, Don, you're exactly right. It's not just the Russian propaganda. Do you guys remember last week when the representative was talking and she said many of the bills and the documents that come across my desk that we have to read and vote on, as I read through them, I can't even believe that it's possible that an American would write this. I know that it's Russian propaganda working directly on the inside of Washington, D.C. That was directly out of her mouth. She's not a Trump way rolling with Trump. She's right. She's a conservative. She's trying to figure out where she stands for next year. I'm getting ready to speak Russian. Of course, she has her very conservative values, but she goes, it's just maddening the amount of propaganda inside DC, and many people don't even get it. They don't even get it. And we're going to give, it's way more complicated than sending some tanks there now. And it's much more. So Budanov, we'll see what unfolds. This is General Milley today. It'll take a long time, very long time, quote, for a complete victory of Ukraine, and to push out all the Russian military from Ukraine is a very high bar to achieve. Chairman of the U.S. General Staff Mark Milley. At the same time, he emphasized that Ukraine has significant resources and combat capability, and we cannot call the current offensive a failure. This is the conversation, not failure. They're reclaiming territory. Russia is losing territory. Russia is being hit in the mouth in their own native land now in feeling some of what Ukraine is doing. Ukraine is tearing Crimea up with some of the wonderfully powerful missiles that they've received from Germany and from France, from the U.S. It's and their own design, the Neptunes that they've modified. It's great. But reality is 260 square kilometers. It's not me talking, in my opinion. I'm telling you, that's what they're talking about in Washington, D.C., inside the Ukrainian embassy. It's a concern. It's a concern. They do not have unlimited resources with soldiers. They have a limit. They can have unlimited. We can supply them till the cows come home with supplies. But people, it's the major resource. Jens Stoltenberg coming out today. So Budanov today, we're going to Crimea. Mark Milley says, hold on, we're doing good, but the reality is this is going to be a long war. You're not kicking them out like that. You gotta bust them out. And then Jens Stoltenberg comes out today. I do not see how at this point this war does not last for years to come. We must be willing for the long run. Julio Tamu can't go full counteroffensive without ATACM small diameter missiles, Saab, Boeing F-16s. U.S. hasn't even provided one tank yet. Sir, I completely agree with you. You get this.
Slava Ukraini. Героям слава!
They need the ability to hit further and harder, and without the restrictions that NATO and nations want. So that's, hey, we're on the same page, guys. I try to share truth. Rustam Umarov, this is another reason that I'm saying pay attention here. So this is what we've recovered, and it's good. Thankful. Tim, they're also taking a lot of artillery, radar, and ammo stores. They're softening the target settings, stage for more offensive. Completely agree. Completely agree. The question is timing, resources, and the big question is now that we're at September 18th, weather. Once we reach mid-October, plans will have to adjust because you can go from a dry battlefield to a mud bog in 24 hours. Seriously, it's significant how the weather changes in Ukraine. So it's good, but then we have Budanov. We're going to Crimea by winter. We have Milley, hang on, long and complex war. Jens Stoltenberg, long and complex war. This is something I'm paying attention to right here. His name is Rustem Umerov, the new defense minister for Ukraine. So what has he done? This is why I'm thinking Budanov may be transitioning to a different position. Rustem, and it's pronounced Rustem Umerov, the defense minister, cleaned house. 6 out of the 7 assistant defense ministers have been released. Not for doing a bad job, but because, quote, we need a fresh start and fresh bodies and minds. These guys have been doing this for 572 days. We need to be refreshed. So he's cleaning house. Well, that, of course, I understand it. Yeah, we're cleaning house. We're getting get everybody rested. But listen, it's also telling you that they're just changing how they're set up to fight this war. That's it. In fact, this lady here, wonderful. This is Hanna Malyar. She's the #1 spokesman for the defense ministry. If you've watched my streams, you've seen her videos or me quote her 100 times. She's a good soldier. She's released. He says, we need fresh. She's been doing this for 572 days. She's gone. So he has cleaned house and it's receiving positive reception from the Ukrainians. They're ready. Now, additionally, Malcolm Beals coming in with the right comment at the right moment. As always. Welcome, Malcolm. Another friend from across the pond. Amish Marine. Malcolm, you are correct. Mark, after 572 days, it's time to change things up, take a different perspective. But it also makes things look unstable within the government. That's how Russia will spin it. They're already spinning it that way. They're getting what they want, the destabilization. I'm not calling it destabilization. I really believe Ukraine is resetting for winning this war and getting fresh, rotating in, because these people haven't been released in, turmoil. Reznikov was giving a standing ovation in the Verkhovna Rada. And these 6 that were released of the 7 today were released with good reports. They were not fired. They were rotated. And, whether it's spin or not, that's the truth of what's happening. So this right here, this is a part of the problem. And this is another issue that we discussed in Washington, D.C. last week. And that is 10 million Ukrainians are not now just out of the country, okay? And when we say out of the country, the majority of them being in Moldova, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, Poland, Germany, some in Belarus, some Russia, Baltics, and then over further into Europe all the way. In America, but your bulk right through this region here. And Ukraine came out today and says, listen, we officially have 10 million of our people gone. And it's not the problem that they're gone, but now they have actually been grafted in to these other societies. For example, in some of these nations, their benefits for free housing has run out, or their health care, they have gotten jobs, they're paying taxes in these foreign nations, and life is beginning to go on for them. And as life continues to go on, we're very concerned they're not going to come back. And we need them to come back even before the war ends. Ukrainian population, Zhenya's number, I think he's right. Pre-war, upper 30s, 40 million. They'll tell you now 30 to 32 million. I'm with Zhenya, about 28 million Ukrainians left inside Ukraine. So just look here at Peter. Look at this. We have over 2,000 Ukrainian families in my county in PA. Heard other countries are okay with it because it helps their economy. That is true. Nobody expected this war to do this. They expected a skirmish. They expected 10 days. They expected 2 weeks. And then the world stands up. Putin pulls out. He made his statement. He goes home. Life goes on. That's what was expected. Nobody. And if anybody tells you they expected it, they're crazy. Nobody expected this. Forced migration, hard to recover from. Ukraine will never be the same. They're not going back. And Ukraine today putting out the message. We have the official number, 10 million, not gone, but they're actually engaged. It's about 14 million gone, but 10 million. And this is what's interesting here. I found this. I started researching, preparing for tonight. And this is Foreign Policy magazine. And I show you this because it's extremely interesting. Look at here. An expert's point of view on a current event. There could be 10 million Ukrainians fleeing Putin's bombs. Europe opened its borders, biggest exodus of refugees since 1945. Written by Bart Suzwick. It looks like a Polish name, but he's working in Germany, political science. But look at this, guys. This was written March the 4th, 2022. March the 4th, 2022. The war began, this phase of it, February 24th, 2022. March the 4th, whoever this guy is, we need to look him up because he nailed it. And here we are in September 2023, and he's Polish. Okay, thank you there, Carl. He's right. So, listen, you guys are smart. That's who you go read after. Go find other stuff this guy's written. It's right here on the chat for you, or the screen. Bart Suzwick, Suzewczyk. I'm going to be looking him up because I like to see what else he has written, because he nailed that. So, problem. Additionally, I started with what we're doing well, but I want you to see the real picture. Probably a lot of this stuff I wouldn't even have shared tonight if I hadn't have heard what I heard last week directly out of their mouths. The economy in Ukraine is struggling. Only 2 regions reported a year-over-year profit for their regional taxation, government, and business records. 26% in Lviv and 34% down in Chernivtsi. But the other regions, Kyiv had a plus 44%, but you're minus 13 in Zhytomyr, 33 in Khmelnytsky, 74 in Dnipropetrovsk, 83% in Donetsk, because half of Donetsk still controlled by Ukraine. It's a challenge right now, and we're trying to share the truth. Additionally, listen, I get the stuff from Ukraine, okay, directly, and they send me stuff, and say, make sure you share this. So when I'm filtering through information, a lot of this is coming directly from my Ukrainian friends, sending it directly to me. Please share this. This is one of those things right here. Ukrainian grain trying to be exported out through Poland, out through other nations. The EU wanting to lift the ban for the transport and the export and the import. Poland says we're going to stand against that. We're banning it. It is affecting our economy. At that moment, which you may or may not know, Ukraine actually filed a suit against Poland. Look it up. Ukraine filed a suit against Poland. Poland's been their best friend in this war, along with the United States and the Baltics and other European nations. Very supportive from day one. You name it. But Ukraine filed a suit saying, no, we need help. We've got to get the grain out. Poland responds and says, listen, you need to back down. We're supporting, we're helping, we're doing everything possible. But if you keep on this route, we're going to block you. We're going to say no to the EU vote. This is how quick it adjusted over the last week. It's worthy of paying attention to, folks. We have Zelenskyy in the U.S. right now. He's going to meet with Biden. Yes, banning import. That's correct. Not transport through. It's worth paying attention to. Zelenskyy with Biden. Zelenskyy at UN. The things that are happening there. And it's like the colonel said last week in Washington, D.C. I played you guys the video. He said, while we do all of this stuff here, and people every day trying to tell the story, supplying us with much needed things, whether it's humanitarian or military or handshakes and hugs. And we're so grateful. But we have to remember, while all of these political things are washing out, our guys are on the trenches getting shelled every day. So even as we discuss all of this and we just try to be clear with where we're at on day 572, that's what we need to remember. Where was Ukraine shipping to before the invasion? Their number one place of shipment was Africa. And all of that's gone now. They would go right out of Odessa, straight down through the straits there between Turkey and Greece, out through the Med, down through the Suez Canal, and they docked in Eastern Africa and supplied bukus of grain to Africa. All of that's gone now. Zero. And who's supplying the grain? Russia. So that was their number one place. So this is where we're at. Yeah, Stephen, the numbers are scary. You know, I'm here because I want people to know the truth. And the truth is, Slava Ukraina do перемога. We give everything we have. I will be back there on the front lines in just a few months, risking my own life to help the nation I love. But we have to understand the truth and not live in a pipe dream. They need the support. They need the help. They need consistency. And we need this political trash that is happening in our world to be washed out. Because just like the congressman said last week, Ukraine is involved in a political war that they cannot win. They cannot win it. They're caught in the waves between Russia and the United States and China and big European nations, and they're a small nation. Therefore, we must be focused on winning the war and sharing the truth. So that's why we share the truth. More truth. 32 guys caught red-handed yesterday hiding in a grain truck trying to escape to Moldova. 32. They had paid $5,000 each to hide in grain trucks. They were caught. In fact, when they were caught, they were taken to the priest right there at the border. He's making them do the national anthem, put their hand over their heart. He then gives them a big speech. telling them what it means to be a patriot, what it means to not be a coward, and real men do not hide in grain trucks. He tells them how it is. This is what Ukraine's doing. They didn't throw him in the prison. They got the priest talking to him saying, "What are you doing?" Then, of course, they were put on a bus and taken to the military commissar office. All 32 of them. So $5,000 a pop to get in a grain truck to hide like a coward and go across the border. But they got him. And it's just where we're at. Where we're at. Okay, Kadyrov. Here's my statement on Kadyrov, because the rumors are flying. He's dead. The rumors are flying. He's in a coma. The rumors are flying. He's getting a kidney transplant, and then there was a bad reaction to it. I'm going to give you the answer right now. Nobody knows. Zero. Mark McLaren, I know you said, come on, I need a Kadyrov update tonight. That is the update. I have confirmed this right before the stream. Yeah, I gave that earlier, Ricochet, including Malyar. I contacted Ukraine right before the stream, and I said, is there any real update on Kadyrov? And the message I received was, Greg, don't let anybody fall into the Prigozhin game. Don't even worry about it. As soon as we know truth, we'll tell you truth. Right now, nobody knows officially. So, Kadyrov did put this video out. And he's talking about how great it is to be walking in the rain and have a nice day. Instead of worrying about him, go take a walk and get some fresh air. So, of course, there's no timestamp on that. Nothing can prove anything. And the rumors are crazy. We do know that's correct. He went to Moscow. Listen, guys, we could end the stream in 10 minutes, and in 1 hour from now, it could be he's gone. Or it could be in 1 hour now, he's in Bakhmut. I'm just telling you. I personally think there's something wrong with him, and we talked about this. A few weeks ago after Prigozhin. Go back, what, in the 560s, 550s, 540s? I said, guys, y'all realize the only one left now is Kadyrov. Be careful. So it could be anything. Him dying could be bad for Russia and Chechnya. Yes. He does have some pretty bad boy underlings, but he is Chechnya. Maybe you guys, you're here and you're new and you go, we don't even know who Kadyrov is. Well, he's the president of Chechnya. He's Putin's son. Been major supporter with Chechen fighters in Ukraine. Very social media driven, very propaganda-ish, very wealthy, and basically is the ruler of Chechnya. So if you want some background on Chechnya, just Google and read something respectable on Chechnya and Kadyrov, but that's who he is. I've played videos of him since the war began, and the way he speaks Russian, talking and using the drop words like dawn, 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 and we have a laugh of it. So it's the TikTok army, that's correct. So that's Kadyrov. As soon as we know, we'll know. Now, I'm back to this, Zelenskyy in the United States. What is being spread on Russian media now that Zelensky's in the United States? Right here. Here's Lavrov, who is coming, the last I heard, to the U.S. Here. 30 seconds. This is their view with Zelenskyy being here.
I'm not able to comment on the United States and their comments. It seems every day's a Friday for them. I think they're working on public opinion as to what's really happening. That's a fact. Ukraine, they've been preparing for years to fight with Ukrainian hands and bodies to strategically defeat Russia. And no matter what they say, the U.S., they run this war. They supply weapons, ammunition, intelligence, satellite data. They are waging a war against us.
And that's it. That's their viewpoint right now in 30 seconds. Of course, that's the foreign minister, Lavrov. I'd like to see Z straighten his nose. Yes. I'm sure President Zelenskyy could straighten his nose very well. I'm watching y'all's sub-conversation in there about Vietnam, and the United States as well had those that ran away. And one of our vets in here says, and I haven't forgotten those guys. I understand it. And it's a challenge, but Ukraine's not exempt from anything any other nation has not experienced. So we'll see. All right, I want to give you a smile tonight, and I'll check everything again before we sign off here. But you guys know Kim Jong-un over there with Putin. They're doing all their tours, and listen, weapons are flowing from North Korea to Russia. We all know it, and it will continue, period. All right, now, how about a little look inside, though? And this comes from Russian media, from Zarubin, who is Putin's personal reporter. He's a guy, I always play videos for you when there's something interesting to show you with Putin. It's always interesting. But look at this. Okay, this is right before the meeting when Putin was going to sit down with Kim Jong-un. The generals of Kim Jong-un had to be prepared and fix their hair. This is just funny. Just look at this. Here comes the little lady. Okay, got to give the hats. We're ready for our meeting. Now we got to come back. Oh, you know what? Wally, pull out the comb. Oh, yes. We've got to comb the hair. I love it. All right, now I'm going to give you one more that I think is just unbelievable. I'll translate some of it for you. It's Zarubin talking. But I call this segment The Chair. This is the chair. This is the chair Kim Jong-un will sit in to speak with Putler. Watch what they do with this chair.
Была в том числе и целая спецоперация по изучению кресла Ким Чен Ына.
So before the meeting that's going to be between Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin, his deputies are making sure the stability and the safety of the chair.
Что-то все же смущает. Идут проверять такие же кресла, приготовленные для
They're making
министров.
sure that all the chairs are strong and stable.
Показывают, что кресло, на их взгляд, не очень устойчивое.
Now, of course, they want to make sure that he's not going to flip over to the side. We don't like that chair. It's too wobbly.
Но и его начинают
Oh, but then they
проверять
found one
сначала
that's
всем
much,
телом,
much more stable.
потом руками,
Now, after that, he then pushes it with his hands for the
потом тоже
softness,
руками,
checking
но
for
с другой
things.
стороны. И в итоге еще и прибор какой-то
Now,
начинают
after that, they
использовать.
run the equipment to make sure that there's nothing inside the chair.
Затем, конечно же, тщательная
Then,
обработка
of
салфетками.
course, you have to clean the chair.
И вот, наверное, все они просто замерли, когда в это кресло сел
Then after that,
Ким Чен Ын.
he sits.
Все нормально. Лидер КНДР
Everything's
прочитывается
normal. Let's have our
перед началом
meeting.
переговоров.
I'm sorry, but I just couldn't help that one. It's almost as good as this one. So there you have it, guys. You know, you got to keep smiling. And listen, I know there's so many military guys in here. It's crazy. And it's wonderful. Don't misunderstand me. It's wonderful. You guys are awesome. And I thank all of you for your service, no matter where you served. And so I know you guys know that you have to have the smiles. And that is one thing I will say about those Ukrainians. They're fighting for their lives. They're smiling. Not every day. Some days are tougher than others, but they're smiling. And we will continue to help them smile. So thank you for being here tonight. That is the full update. I will check now, as you can see, but this is what happens. The same regions other than Donetsk and Zaporizhia just went red. So it's not determined yet what it'll be, but that'll pop in a second. But if you look, drones overall, except there is a rocket warning, missile warning for Lviv. So that's interesting. We'll see what happens there. But like these drone warnings can stay active from 4, 6, 8 hours. These drones will just wobble around. And that's what they do. They call them mopeds in Ukraine. So that's where we're at. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here. Slava Ukraina. Geruam Slava do Peremogę. You got it 100%. Rick Berry. Be blessed, guys. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing, telling others. Thank you for caring. Thank you for being a part of this community. Couldn't do it without you. And we're here until victory. You guys have a good night. And we will see you in 2 days, if not before.
Слава Україні!